Last week we made the first video in a little mini-series that we're doing in the lead up to Christmas when we're talking about social media. Last week's video was about logos. If you haven't checked it out, go there, because this is a continuation of that. So let's assume that you and your band have a logo. You've either made it or you've employed someone to make it for you. Now you're going to need to think about literally everything else that's going to go on your social media. Let's call this branding. So the thing with branding is that a lot of people will say you don't need branding, but really everything that you do and everything that you have is branding. It's just whether or not you choose to call it branding or not. Every single time that you use a font, whether it's Times New Roman or one you've actually chose out yourself, or whether it's just a colour scheme for a photo, whether it's black and white in colour, has it got an effect on it, that all comes under branding. Whether you like it or not, or whether or not you think it's branding or not, it's branding. It's what people are going to remember your band for. So, you're going to need to actually think about what it is that you're doing. The first logical thing to do would be to pick a colour scheme, because colour schemes are really easy to come across and they're really simple to grasp. As a concept for branding, a colour scheme is an obvious thing. McDonald's is red and yellow. Coca-Cola is white and red. Apple is monochromatic, where they only use white, grey and black. They very rarely use colour in any branding whatsoever, and it has a certain aesthetic to it. YouTube is white, black and red. You'll notice that white and black come up a lot because white and black are very neutral colours, and you can throw white and black into literally any colour scheme. Generally, if you're using quite an odd colour that's going to stand out a lot, use either white or black to go with it, rather than another colour. Yellow and black works a hell of a lot better than yellow and green does. So let's say that you have actually come up with a colour scheme. That's when you can start thinking about maybe having photos, because on a social media page, it's always good to have photos. Or, I mean, logos are okay, logos are good and fine, but as a cover photo and a profile picture, if you've got them both as the same logo, or the logo is square, and then for your cover photo you've just got a zoomed in version of your logo, looks a bit rubbish. So maybe think about having maybe a photo for your cover photo, or a photo for your profile picture. But either works, you can have it as both. It doesn't really matter, it's just worth thinking about. And if you are going to do a photo shoot, here's a few little things for you to think about. Do you want it to look super generic? If you do, maybe just stand in front of a brick wall and or forest. That's going to look super generic. There aren't a lot of things that I can say to make a photo shoot original, because generally it's kind of the weird things that a band brings to the photo shoot that can make it a bit different. So for example, my band, where there will be a video about that coming very, very soon, my band has just done a photo shoot where we use green and purple powder paint and then green and purple smoke grenades, where we fill the screen with smoke and we are covered in powder paint, and it looks kind of cool. That's our kind of aesthetic, that's our colour scheme, because we use two different colours that fit with the colour scheme, and that is kind of the thing for our photo shoot. The photo shoot looks way cooler than if we'd have just stood in a field. Now I'm not saying copy me, and I'm not saying do it the generic way. What I'm saying is you kind of have to have some ideas behind you. Do you all wear cool like suits, or don't know, anything? Like, can you go to somewhere that looks a little bit weird, somewhere that people are going to look at and go, that looks kind of cool, rather than it being generic? Just have a think about it, because that will definitely help your social media, because it's the branding is what people see first. They click on your profile and they see the pictures. Think about what you're actually going to use for the pictures. Don't overlook it, because it's a really, really big part of the first impression. Okay, so you've got all your main branding. So you've got your name, you've got your logo, you've got pictures, photos, that kind of thing. You've got it all down and you're ready to go. No, you're not. You're going to need some words to go along with what you have. On Facebook, there are countless amounts of sections where you can write an about, a description, a long description, a short description, who's your manager, who's your press agent, all that kind of stuff. On Twitter, it's a little bit simpler. Twitter is just a little short bio that's like 200 characters, and then you can say where you're from and a website. I would say do your Twitter one first, limit yourself to a really short description, and then just copy that across to Facebook. Now, the reason why I'm only mentioning Facebook and Twitter is because they are really the only two social medias that are actually really working at the moment. YouTube works, but it's not really social media, it's more of just a sharing platform. And pretty much everything else isn't as good, and even Facebook's not really that good. I'd recommend using Twitter over Facebook if you're only going to use one. I'd recommend using both just in case, but Twitter is a hell of a lot better to get out there. Facebook is very inclusive, and when you post, they only share to about 5% of the people who have actually liked your page. That's not ideal. Twitter shares to everybody, so use Twitter if you can. Let's say you've limited yourself to 200 characters. Avoid really generic things. Avoid saying that your drums are thunderous, or that you have really technical good guitars, or blasting bass, or you know, that kind of shit. Don't just say that you have adjective bass, adjective guitar, adjective drums, and adjective vocals. Because that's a bit shit. And a lot of start-out bands do this. We did it when we first started out as a band. It's not helpful. Don't describe your music. There is no point in describing your music. Leave as much to the imagination as possible, because then people will actually want to click on your music to look at it, rather than going, well, I don't like thunderous drums, so I'm not going to like them. I'm not even going to listen to their songs. Don't give them that opportunity. Make them want to listen to your band. That's what this description needs to be. It needs to be a thing that entices people in. It needs to be a thing that goes, ah, I'm going to listen to them because that sounds kind of cool. If you're a really aggressive, hard band, maybe put your short description as something like, what happens if you put a baby in a blender? Our music is that. Or, you know, just some shit like that. Obviously, don't put that. That's really rubbish. But that kind of thing, something that maybe puts an image in people's minds rather than just blatantly trying to describe the music that you're making. One thing is, a lot of bands seem to go, oh, we are this person, this person, this person, and this person, which is all well and good for the people that know you individually, but no one really cares what your names are unless they're massive fangirls. I think the big thing there is that you care about your members, obviously, and you want people to care about your members. That's fine. Telling people what your names are doesn't solve anything. That doesn't help. Nothing's really been achieved by you telling them your name. They're not going to remember it. There's 5 names there, and they're more interested in your music. It doesn't really matter. Don't put really... I mean, on Facebook, there's a section for members, so by all means put it on there, but if it's on, like, Twitter or you're doing it in a description, there's no real point in doing it. Also, maybe avoid putting anything that's a bit comic in there. You know, like, if there's location, maybe, you know, put in... oh, your mom, or, you know, that kind of shit. Just don't put jokes in, because there could be important people that are interested in your band and are then going onto social media to check you out. They might see something that's a bit stupid and think, oh, they just piss about. They don't really care. They aren't very professional. Not going to work with them. And you might never hear from them. There might be so many people that have viewed your band and then not contacted you because of something that you've put on, if it's stupid or whatever. So maybe don't do that. If you are genuinely a funny band, genuinely trying to do comedy, then maybe do. But the kind of bands that are in it for the laugh and make jokes and stuff, that's not the place to do jokes and stuff, because, again, let your music speak for what you do. Don't try and put something in a description that tries to tell people what your music is like. Let them find your music themselves rather than you trying to force it upon them with descriptions. I think the big thing with all the descriptions is try and keep it concise. Try and make it less than a paragraph. A lot of people, when they first see your band on social media, aren't going to know anything about you. So they'd much rather just listen to some music than read an entire essay. No one's actually going to read an entire essay if you put one on. If you want a big thing of like, oh, this is all the cool stuff that we've done, maybe put it on there, but really what you want is something really short, concise, that's captivating, that really draws people in and makes people think, ooh, what is this band? I really want to check them out. Make people want to listen to your music with your branding rather than describe your music with your branding. So that's it, provided that you've got a cool profile picture, cool cover photo, either which could be from a photo shoot, provided you've got a colour scheme that you kind of stick to with all images and that kind of stuff, you're set. You've got a pretty alright looking bit of branding there. If you want to link your band social media in the comments, we may do a video where we actually like judge social media and stuff. We could even do it in the live stream when we judge songs as well. That is coming, promise. It will be before the end of the year. We will do a live stream and we will do the reviews like we said we were going to do. Promise. Yep, send us your stuff, and got some cool stuff coming out this week, so be ready. Bye-bye, have a good week. That was weird. Bye-bye, have a good week.